What's going on, Soul Tribe? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're getting pumped up for this energy that's coming up this week. So exciting. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the greatest, y'all. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. All right, now this is your weekly download. Yeah, I don't really have a rhyme or reason for this dance. We just kind of go with these jigs, so brace yourself. But these videos are to talk about the different aspects, the kind of conversations that the planets are having with each other is this week, and how these energies may be working with your placements. And I'll be mentioning the degrees as well. So if you have any points or placements that are close around this, you may be feeling those, or these points may be working a bit more closely with you. You may feel a bit more sensitive to those energies. So just something to be mindful of there. And if this is something where you are curious with how these energies are working in your charts more uniquely, and how you can, because it's very fascinating. I have, when with this new moon solar, new super moon solar eclipse that's going to be happening in Aries here on the 8th, that's going to be forming a conjunction on my solar return Chiron. So that's one I've definitely am going to take a moment to kind of clear some space out, and definitely do some kind of introspective work there. Maybe do a little journaling there, and just kind of see what see what kind of comes up. But it gives you a chance to set these intentions and to be more conscious in your day to day. Astrology brings about just this different level of awareness, not necessarily telling you what to do, but giving you some themes to think about, so that you can write this whole tale out there, so we can see what you can manifest with these gifts. So if you're curious about with the gifts that you in the toolbox that you're working with, or how the energies are working with you each year, how even like in the grander scheme of things, what are some progress, in your progress chart. I've been actually talking with a couple friends about that here recently, and who've been going through some pretty big shifts here as of late. And it's been nice to kind of get like an eye on that. And it's just like, okay, get you kind of prepared for what are some things that I've been feeling has been wanting to change. So, it's very fascinating. So if that's something that resonates with you, check down in the description box below. I have the links for all of the services that I provide down there. I also have that on my Instagram page as well there, so definitely check that out. But I think that's all I got for you there. So let's go ahead and get into this energy here this week. Because Venus, she's kind of the star of this week, the lovely Empress. Because on the 28th at about 6:58 a.m., and that'll be Pacific time, Venus is going to be forming a conjunction with Uranus at 20 degrees of Pisces in 37 minutes, and Uranus will be in Taurus, the sign that she is the guardian over. Now, it's been very interesting. I always find like that. I think that conversation always between Venus and Uranus is a very fascinating one, because Venus is how we relate to things, and not even just people and relationships, and that is a big part of it, but even bigger than that, because Venus deals with how we find peace, how we find harmony. This can be our connection with color. This can be our connection with sound. This can be our connection with food. This Venus deals with the senses. And I feel that this is an energy of evaluating how you have changed over this time. Venus is finishing up a cycle, and how these changes in you have. And I feel like not even just noticing the changes in you, and noticing the changes in others as well, because now we're getting into this place with Pisces and Taurus, where Pisces is where we're in this energy of completion. We're wrapping some things up. We're getting ready to start this new chapter. We're in a more kind of intuitive and compassionate, forgiving type of space. We're in an imaginative type of space. So I feel this energy gives you a chance to one, I feel, think about the things that you value, how do you see yourself taking that into the future? Do the things excite you? Do you feel that they create opportunities, or are they things that have maybe we've gotten into the materialistic side of the Taurus energy? Maybe there's been that sort of like that, almost getting like that, because Uranus for me kind of represents that collective consciousness, and I almost feel like there's that programming of like, when we're taught so much to consume so much, how, if that has come into play or not, and just seeing where your relationship is with a lot of things. This is a very kind of, it's a very simple place for Uranus to be, as far as like, when you think about the collective mind being such a complex thing, to think about it in a sign of Taurus, it is, I feel like it's like how the collective relates to the world, how they relate to each other, because when you think about those, not even just the senses, but even the environment as well, and even in nature, how is that connection as well? Have we kind of gotten into that sort of, I almost want to say that, I don't want to say this is necessarily collective rut, but I do feel that there is a bit of a disconnect when it comes for, I think people like the idea of nature, but it's like there's not enough time being made to be outside in it. And that's just more, so we can, it depends on who you're talking with, but it feels that this can be a time to really kind of revamp some things, really kind of check in and be sensitive to the stuff, or tune into the things that maybe we've gotten excited about, that was more so kind of a collective thing, whether it's like, is this something that I'm excited about? Is this a thing that I want to take with me going forward, or was I just following a trend? Kind of thinking a bit more. And I feel this kind of promotes this sort of tuning into what you need as well, because it gives you this, how do I want to put this? I feel like it gives you this, I had something real strong with that, but I think that the thoughts are running away from me. But overall, I will say, then I'll get ready to move. I'll move on to the next energy here. I feel that, again, something about the Uranus being in Venus's home sign, there's this, I feel like Uranus is kind of this, it's almost like kind of rooting on, or encouraging us to really kind of walk in our light and be aware of, because Pisces is that awareness, of how we're maybe showing or doing something, maybe because of a certain relationship with a thing, or maybe there's even something we've either been taught, or something that we've just kind of, maybe it just inherently follow, because Pisces can be an impressionable energy too, so just something I feel like to pay attention to. And this could even be one last thing with that. Like when I think about Uranus and Taurus, it's thinking about the future, and it can deal with science and technology as well. And I feel, and this is, I feel, kind of ties in nicely too with Mercury retrograde as well. But it, I feel like Uranus is really kind of asking us to see how we may have disconnected from just like your environment in general, and seeing how that really does affect you, how, we kind of need that space to reduce some of that stimuli a little bit, that it feels like, it's almost like Uranus in Taurus has been wanting the collective mind to be at peace a little bit, to not be so worked up all the time. Because when we get to when Uranus is in Gemini, that's going to be a very kind of active energy. The mind's really going to kind of go into overtime here, and we're going to be processing stuff in a new way. So I feel like this is the time to kind of relax and really kind of get a foundation. Again, this year's been giving me one of like building some kind of foundation now, because things are really going to start taking off and kind of cooking here next year. But and I guess that's kind of interesting too, because when we get into the next energy, we have on Moon Day, Monday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, at about 3:15 p.m., Mercury is going to go retrograde in Aries at 27 degrees and 13 minutes. Now, I find that's very interesting because Mercury is going to be in Aries for a while. And I feel that this Mercury retrograde can be very beneficial for us, because when this is happening, Mars is in Pisces. Where we talk about all that, we talk about that Pisces energy, and Mars is fueling a lot of that Aries action that's going to be happening here over this time as we move into April. And I feel that this is going to be a time where we really need to think about where we're going forward. Are we just kind of jumping at any old thing, or are we really being thoughtful with where we're kind of spending our energies right now? Or we're just like this is a very thoughtful retrograde, because Aries is one that can be excitable, can kind of just start things up, wants to act first and then really think about this stuff later. But where sometimes that boldness, impulsiveness can be beneficial, there are other times where, it may fall short, or it may overpromise and then underperform. And that's very interesting too, because the degree that Mercury's falling on, and it's very interesting, there's this download that came between, this degree theory, and they're called Sabian symbols. And with Mercury falling on this degree, this is phase 28 of Aries. And this one is for a large audience confronts the performer who disappointed its expectations. And the keynote from this is the necessity for mature preparation and self-criticism. And I have a link down in the description box with a website that has all of the Sabian symbols, the different degree points, and something to keep in mind of with them. In astrology, it's usually from 0 to 29 degrees. So when you're looking at the degrees, the 0 degree would be the first degree in the book, and then 1 would be 2, 2 would be 3, and so on. So that's something to be mindful of when you're looking through this stuff. But the keynote for this Sabian symbol is the necessity for mature preparation and self-criticism. And that's where I say we want to be mindful about delivering things and making sure that we can actually either follow through with this, or that we've really kind of planned stuff out. Because I'm just picturing this performer in front of the audience. You've got this, people have this whole big expectation. You've ever been to that, where you've had this whole big expectation and then everything just kind of falls flat, and it's just like, what did I just spend my money on in time and all of this stuff? And so Mercury retrogrades. Mercury is the planet, yes, of communication and how we perceive our day to day, how we learn, but it's also just like kind of like your everyday sort of interactions with stuff, like your cell phone, brushing your teeth, showering, messing with your phone, messing with your computer, your daily commute. That's why Mercury retrogrades are such a kind of a big deal, because we can get so caught up in the day to day, they invite us to slow down a little bit and really kind of process. And I feel with it happening in Aries, this is a time to check in with the body too. Does the body, are you feeling emotionally well enough? Your body may be feeling it, but emotionally you may not be feeling it, and you may not understand where that connection is if you didn't slow down. Or maybe there's some sort of, maybe emotionally feeling fine, but physically we need to heal something. We've been ignoring whatever that's looking like. But this is a time to really kind of check in with your health too. Mercury embodies, and this is not medical advice or anything, but Mercury does cover that as well, how we take care of ourselves. So this could be mindful of pushing ourselves to thin. Mercury is very active, but Aries is very active energy as well. So just make sure that you're making time to rest, especially with Mars, the dispositor of this energy, being in Pisces. Taking some time for yourself, making sure to rest, because Mercury is going to be, as they're going through this retrograde, there's a lot that Mercury is going to be processing with this Aries energy. After this conjunction happens, Mercury will be passing through or forming a conjunction with Chiron again, be meeting up with the North Node, and then make one more thing with Chiron, and will be behind the sun at this point. And there's a lot that I feel Mercury is going to be kind of processing here over this retrograde. So this is a time, I feel, not that you can't take actions, but it's just we're being very intentional with where we're doing this. And I feel like, again, that kind of ties in nicely with that Venus sextile Uranus, because maybe there are some things that we thought was going to be something, but again, it kind of falls flat. Maybe we didn't show up like for either someone that we may promise something to, maybe for ourselves. But maybe this is evaluating your relationship with a certain idea or whatever this may be looking like. But yeah, this is the time to make sure visualization, make sure we're setting actionable goals and really set these achievable things, and believe in yourself that you can do this. And the last energy, which I feel is really, really, really lovely, on Mercury Day, Wednesday, at April 3rd at about 6:10 a.m., Venus is going to be forming a conjunction in Pisces with Neptune at 28 degrees of Pisces. And conjunctions are when the planets are within 0 to 3 degrees of each other, and they represent a fusion of energies. And so you have Venus in her higher octave, Neptune, in this kind of like final conversations with Neptune being in Pisces. This is, Neptune is the modern guardian of Pisces along with Jupiter. And Venus is exalted in Pisces. So this is a very lovely, very powerful, loving energy that's coming through here. Really take this day to, I feel affirmations would be a really great energy to really get into practice, to just put a lot of love into yourself, put a lot of love out there. Maybe making it a point to just say hey to your local grocery store person, or whomever you happen to see walking by on the street, or just I feel like a very kind of loving, forgiving type of energies here. It's almost as this acknowledgement of humanity in a sense, and of people's humanity. This real kind of strong awareness here. And I love the Sabian symbol for this one, because this is phase 359 of Pisces. And the theme for the phase for that is light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism. So, even just that imagery in itself, just picturing this kind of diamond, and then just the colors, how iridescent it can be when you see sunlight or things passing through, or if you ever had just crystals or something hanging from a window and the sun shining through and it's passing all these colors. And the keynote for that is the analytical power of the mind necessary for the formulation of life processes in their many aspects. And I feel with this one, this energy is about differentiation. And I feel that this is accepting everyone's part in this, because it's like this journey is not about just one person getting about the boat. You know, the boat can't leave until everyone's off the island. And so this is about helping. How do we shine brilliantly? How do we because we are a reflection of, I feel like, in this scenario, of like this source's light. And I feel like it's, how do we come to love all of the colors? You know, how, what is our relationship? It's a very big energy that I feel like is kind of coming through with Venus conjunct Neptune. This can be one where it can just be a very strong collective healing type of energy. Just, like, I feel like this, every time this would happen, even if Venus isn't, or, Neptune wasn't in Pisces, this would just be, I feel like, a great energy just to, like a national great deed week or something like that. Something to just like really spread that kind of, that love around there, to just really kind of bring the, really kind of work from the heart chakra, just really kind of beautiful energy here. So, but I feel like it's appreciating the complexities of how Source really kind of translates the energies, and how it contributes to the beauty of it creates the image of the whole. I'm thinking of like almost like a puzzle, and if like a piece was missing, the masterpiece is complete. We have to have that one piece there, and its differences, its edges and things, in order to come as a whole. So I feel this energy is to, as well, allow people to allow their lights to shine through, maybe see where we may have been taking up space maybe in someone else's life, maybe not, and not like, and what I mean by that is just paying it, like seeing how we've been kind of showing up in our relationships. Could we maybe make space for a different light to kind of shine through there? Or, but there's this understanding though of that, this is, it's like it's a time thing, like a divine timing, a divine understanding that a relationship, and this doesn't have to be, I'm just not just talking with people, this could even be where, I don't know, there's some kind of acceptance here, some kind of forgiveness, some sort of, like a letting go that's happening, a catharsis, a surrender, a something where it's like we're having this conversation with our higher self, something that no longer, that we may have been running away from, possibly something that may have been, because Pisces can deal with escapism too, and but yeah, I wish I had more words how I'm describing this feeling, because it's almost like these final conversations at these last degree, because Venus will probably have one more conversation with Neptune at that final degree of Pisces, and then the next time they talk, it'll be, Neptune will be in a whole brand new cycle. So I don't know, I just feel like things are going to be change. Things of course are changing, and I feel like how we're showing up for each other is evolving as well. So yeah, I don't know. This is a very interesting kind of evaluation time of energy. Like, what are we valuing? What is our relationships with the things that we value? How those things are evolving, and what does that mean collectively? Even, I feel like even kind of thinking on a broader type of scale as well here. But yeah, hopefully that made sense. That was an interesting energy to be into. But that's all I got for you there, gang. So yeah, if any of that resonates with you, let me know how these energies are translating in there for you. Especially with these degree points. This is a big energy for any sort of I'd say mutable placements with all the Pisces energy, any water placements, so Scorpio, Cancer, or any earth placements, Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus as well, especially when we have a lot of earth and a lot of water that's going on. And then Mercury, this will affect those if you have any placements. Mercury's going to go retrograde back through 15 degrees, I think 59 minutes of Aries. So if you have any points between 27 and 15 degrees in any cardinal signs, any fire placements, or any air placements. This retrograde is going to be working with you more personally. Mercury is going to be hitting your placements about 3 times, so there's going to be a lot to think about in this time. So take this time to kind of reevaluate, see where things are going, where you may have, again, maybe overcommitted. Maybe we may not have pushed ourselves hard enough. Maybe this could be even the opposite. So just some things to kind of reflect upon there, and hopefully this has been helpful for you. And yeah, please, down in the description box, down in the comments below, talk about how these energies are working with you, so you can see how it can be so different when these energies are coming through here. When Mercury's going retrograde, this is squaring my Cancer placements, and I'm actually in a place where I am. Mercury's wanting me to do something bold there, but my the emotional state is kind of tricky. So, but it's curious. It's it is fascinating to see how this stuff can resonate with you, how it is pushing you, and how you can deal with the stuff. Because I'm wrapping my head around it. I'm getting a game plan, and we got charts here. We're setting vision board. We're setting daily intentions. So, and that's how you deal with it, one day at a time. You be patient with yourself. You meet yourself where you're at. So, but yeah, I hope that resonated, or hopefully you found something useful with that. And I will catch you on the next one next week.